I think I can actually talk during this part. So, hi everyone. Hey, I think this is working. Hello, is it unmuted? Everything looks good. Yes, 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 yes. Hello. Hey, I see we got a few people here. Yeah, today or this week was Smoky. Smoky probably has an E in it. I think so. Here we have in the U.S. we have the Smoky Mountains, and one of them has an E, like either the word smoky, like a smoky room, has an E, or the mountain range has an E, and I never remember which is which. It's either like the Smoky Room and the Smoky Mountains. They're different. I never remember which is which. So it was smoky from burning, not smoking from the Smoky Mountains. It's always fog. It just looks like it's smoky. Actually, really gorgeous too. That part of our country is just amazing to watch or to see. But anyway, yeah, we've had a lot of Canadian smoke here in the area, and it has been smoky. I'm going to shut off my air conditioner. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's really loud for me. So let me shut that off with Home Assistant. There we go. How's everybody else's week been? I don't know if we have anybody. I think, depending on who's here, we have some folks in the New York area. I know it's been really smoky there. It's amazing. We've never really dealt with massive like air quality concerns, but this week has been something to the point where I couldn't like mow the lawn outside, even though it needed it because the air quality is just too bad. So we've actually, I actually bought these. I had never even thought of doing such a thing, but bought box fans, like 20-inch box fans. I don't know what that is in metric, like 50 centimeters, maybe 50-ish centimeters. It's probably pretty close. Um, uh, and furnace filters. If you get like MERV 13, I don't know what MERV stands for, but MERV 13 or above, they filter out smoke particles. And normally, they're for furnace filters, but people have been like building huge air filters out of them. But I guess in California for a long time, they just basically take a furnace filter, slap it on the back of a fan, and like hold it on with a rubber band, and it will clean the air in your house. And so we did that, and I think it helped a little. But yeah, today is fine. Actually, it just looks a little hazy out. But the front of our house, we can see across Little Traverse Bay, which is right here in Petoskey. It's part of Lake Michigan that kind of comes into a bay right by Petoskey. If you look on a map of Michigan and you look, like this is Michigan, if you look near the tip of the pinky finger, that's where I live in Petoskey, and you can see where Little Traverse Bay comes in, and that's like my house is way up on the bluff, but we can see it's probably, I don't know, quarter mile away, half mile away, um, but we can see over it. And then we can see across the bay to the town on the other side of the bay, which is Harbor Springs area. And most of the week, it just looked like I don't know. Have you seen the movie? What is that movie with the nothing? Oh, with the luck dragon. What is that movie? It is. I can't think of the name of the movie. Oh, hey Gemma. But the movie where the nothing comes, and oh my goodness, I can't for the life of me think of the movie. Never Ending Story. That's the name of the movie I couldn't think of. Anyway, where in the Never Ending Story and then nothing comes. That's kind of what it looked like. It was just like, it looked like fog, but it was during a sunny day, and the whole, like, you just could not see the other side of the bay, and it's not that big of a bay. So it was just weird all week. But yeah, the air quality was really bad. Like I said, it's getting better now. The fires are still raging. So, I mean, if the wind shifts, it could happen again. So we'll see what happens. But I have really bad lungs, so it affects me kind of greatly when it happens. And yeah, so that's how my week has been. Um, yes, where the dragon looks a bit like a dog, a very large, friendly dog. Yes, yes, and I get it. Sometimes I get it mixed up with the Dark Crystal because they're both, Jim Henson Studio Muppets that are characters. But yeah, the Neverending Story is the one with the nothing, I believe, and that's kind of just what it reminded me of looking across the bay. So anyway, I should put a camera up. It's not that great of a view, but you can see across the bay. You can see the water really nicely. So if you watch the video that I did where it's just like B-roll of me walking around with a GoPro and then me talking about Red Hat over the scene, there's a part where I'm near my house. I'm not actually at my house, and you kind of look down the road and you can see the water. I don't know what day that was or what it was like, if you could see fog. I'm a little bit curious now. I might have to load that up in a window to see because yeah, that's the bay. Here, let me look. I'll load it up over here and see if I can see it. Ba-dum-ba-bum. Open sources people. All right. There's my feet. Yes, my feet. They're lovely. Okay, so oh yeah, it's just a little bit hazy. But if you look at about like 1 minute into that movie, the one that says Red Hat but about people, it looks over the bay. That isn't my street, but it's like one of the side streets right near my house, and you can normally see over, and you can see the other side, but I don't know. Oops, mute that. But anyway, it was yeah, it's been really smoky. So anyway, what else is going on? Yeah, I recorded a video and the audio was terrible. In fact, I'm doing this thing. I'm gonna try to do the like premiere. So there's this thing when you schedule a live stream on YouTube, when you stop streaming, it will redirect people directly to another video, like to another live stream or to like a premiere. And so I set the video to go live at 4 o'clock my time, so like at the end of the hour here. And when we stop the live stream, it should redirect anybody who's watching on YouTube directly to the next video. It's just a Linux Plus video. It's nothing like special or anything. But that's Gemma. That's my grandpuppy Gemma. She's visiting. But I'm curious if it works. So if y'all like stick around to the end, and if it redirects you right to that video, please let me know, like in the Discord or something, because I'm curious how that works and if it just automatically takes you there. So yeah, that's about all that's going on. The Red Hat debacle. I don't know if anybody's been following that, but it's. I'll be honest. The thing about Red Hat. I mean, I posted my blog post, and then I posted a video of me reading my blog post, but it's almost made me not want to. It's almost made me lose my passion for open source, only because the infighting of the community. I'm just reminded that the open source community can be very toxic. It can be wonderful, and it means, open source software and open source concepts in general means so much to me personally, but sometimes I'm just reminded how toxic it can be. People you have Jeff Geerling on one side, and then you have, like the Red Hat supporters who are kind of like saying that, no, he's ridiculous. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And it can get nasty really quickly. And I hate that so much. But also, I'm not a business person, so I don't really have a great opinion on that, other than it just bums me out, right? So anyway, that's my non-professional, non-business take on the Red Hat debacle, like CentOS Stream and Rocky and Alma and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this week I had a real problem with the with the recording. I did a YouTube short on it, and it was, well, in the video that premieres at the end of the live stream, I play a little clip. Here, I'll give you guys a little clip if you want. You want a clip? Here, let me give you a clip. All right, let's see. You get minimized. No. I wonder how I can play a video. Add a source. Can I add a source? Oh, let's see. Add a local video. All right, we'll try this. Today is just a day of experimentation. There we go. 2.2.2. The first video right here. All right. All right. All right. Want to see and hear some of it? Here, let's see how this works. We're talking about the difference between bash profile and bash RC or etc. profile. They are loaded at different times. So a login shell is when you log into the command line, you have to enter your username and password. Okay, so like if you SSH into a machine or you're first logging in to the console, if you have to type in your username and password to get a prompt, that is going to be a login shell. And it will load etc. profile, which then in turn loads your bash profile. Yeah, you can hear it. Exactly. Yeah, it's yeah, it was bonkers town. But I mean, you know, I knew exactly what went on. I started OBS and I got scolded by some people like, you never update in the middle of a project. But I mean, I wasn't in the middle of a project. I was just starting a new one, a new video. And for days I'd been just like, remind me later. But I'm like, oh, that's fine. OBS can update. I don't care. But during the update, for whatever reason, normally it doesn't change any settings, but for whatever reason, the update unmuted my system, like the default audio source on that scene. So like the default audio is like there and I always have it muted, and then I add my microphone as a separate input device because I don't like it when like Windows or Mac or whatever like changes the default device. So I added my mic separate and I kept the other one muted. It unmuted it. So I mean they were the same source, but when it recorded both of them, it got that really, really crazy one. So it sounded bizarre. So yeah, anyway, I did re-record. I don't know that it's any better or any worse than the original. I mean, the audio's better, but the content, I don't know. It's kind of a weird topic too. So if you look at the objectives. Oh, hey Dwayne, how's it going? If you look at the objectives for Linux Plus and you go through them, sometimes they group things together that are just so weird. Like this one. Here, do we have it handy? Let's see if we have it handy. Yeah, let's look together. Here's my face. So this is from the video that I actually just recorded. My scribbles are still on here. But you know, we did this part up here, like in the video before that's already been released. And then I understand these things down here. Hold on, let me clear this. Oops. Oh, what is happening? Oh my goodness. That is, I don't know what is happening there. It started like redrawing instead of scribbling. Oh, that was fun. Anyway, you know, these are the tools, and then it talks about like where the stuff is stored. And then down here, like bash profile, bash RC, I think that's a little bit weird to include with it. But then over here, I don't know why it does that. Why it just unerased everything. Windows. Anyway, I don't know why all of these things are in here. And like specifically fail lock and Pam Tally 2, I think that's a bizarre place to put stuff, or a bizarre place to put these alongside like account management. Like I get the password command and I get chage being there, and you know, I get the login defs because that's how you specify what default password settings are, and you know, the chage settings are. But why were Pam Tally 2 and fail lock in there? I just that's just weird for me. I don't get it. But it is what it is. Am I very echoey now? Now I'm echoey? Did it do it again? Did it unmute the other? Hello? Test. Am I echoey? Oh no. Echo. Hello. So that is there. I don't know why it would be echoey. And I can't hear myself. Oh wait, the sound. Oh. I'm watching from Twitch and it doesn't seem to be. Okay, I don't know. Brian, I'm sorry if it seemed echoey. Unless you were, oh, maybe you're behind the video and you were watching the section of the echoey video that I played. I played a really echoey video. So maybe that was it. Cause yeah, I played a clip of the video. So maybe you're just behind on the stream. That's my guess, is that it was from earlier in the stream. It could be behind wherever you are. So anyway, yeah, false alarm. I'm glad. I was like, no, it's still messed up. But anyway, yeah, it was frustrating for me that OBS unmuted that thing. And sometimes I'm not sure if I could, let me go back to that. Yeah, so audio input capture, it's the default. And see, it already changed. It isn't even the same microphone source anymore. But when I unmuted it, or it unmuted it by default, and then it just started playing. Can I erase? Can I remove that? No, see, I can hide it, but if it's hidden, I don't. But what if it's like hidden, but also still like here? I'll show you what I mean. So down here, y'all can see this, right? Yeah. Okay. So this audio input capture, it's just the default system audio capture thing, and the OBS upgrade had unmuted it. And right now, it looks like that's not a big deal because for whatever reason, the default device is no longer the same Wave XLR, but the other day it was the same. And so I just had like double duty. And I think it might have been going through, I have a program called Voice Mod that I haven't really used much on the stream, but like I was playing with it. So I think it might have been like the reason it sounded so echoey and weird is it might have had like a millisecond delay as it went through the Voice Mod program. And so maybe that's why it sounded particularly bad. But anyway, that was the issue. So I'm going to mute that because that was terrible. And oddly enough, it didn't have that problem in any, like for some reason, audio input capture. I must have hidden it on my regular face cam. And because it actually didn't show. So anyway, all right. Live stream face. Let's move everything back to where it was because I made a mess on my computer. And I know y'all can't see it, but there. Oh, and it looks like everybody disconnected. According to this, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe y'all are still here. Anyway, I don't even know where I was, what I was talking about. But yeah, that's why it was echoing. I blame OBS. But yeah, anyway, the Linux Plus stuff, I don't know why they put some of the things in that they put in. So this was an odd video. I mean, it's done now, and it'll premiere right after this is over, just because I want to see if it'll redirect you. But I worry that it's not terribly interesting. I mean, I talked about the stuff and like we set up fail lock, but has anybody use fail lock or Pam Tally 2? It's a way to lock out logins if somebody like types in the wrong password several times. It's like fail to ban, if you've ever used fail to ban, except it's for the local PAM authentication database, so it like works for local accounts as well. But I don't know. I would just always use fail to ban because that can handle other programs too, whereas PAM Tally 2 or fail lock only work on PAM. And I don't know about y'all, but I hate setting up PAM modules. It's so confusing. Like where it's like, auth and then space required and then a module, but I don't even know what they mean. Like some of them are like auth required, auth, a requisite auth, option. I mean, there's just so many things that make such little sense. Every time I teach about PAM modules, and it hasn't been very often, but like, I don't even think it's in the LPIC 1 course. I think it was LPIC 2 before they really talked about PAM modules. But boy, when I was teaching that stuff, I had to just dive deep and study and like teach it quickly before it fell out of my brain, because it is not the kind of thing that I want to have front and center in my thought process all the time. It's just not fun. But yeah, PAM, I mean, it's there and I get why it should be learned, but I don't want to retain that information. So anyway, yeah, That's my thoughts on Pam. Pam the person, she's great. Pam the authentication modules, not so much. I actually don't know a Pam. I don't think. No, I don't think I know a Pam. Oh, it's okay now. I wonder when you heard the echo if I was wearing a different color shirt and if it was that video that I was playing. Because I was playing a video of the echoey stuff, Brian, and I hope that's what it was. I hope it was just that. Yeah. Jellyfin. Oh yeah, let's talk about Jellyfin. I have used Jellyfin quite a bit. Would you know if you can use older iPads to stream the content? Do you mean like to stream the content too, like watch the content on an older iPad? It probably depends on how old the iPad is. I have a pretty old iPad. I think my Jellyfin thing is currently offline though. Otherwise, I'll go grab that. The iPad might be right up here. Let's see. Is Jellyfin online for me? Upshaw.com. It doesn't look good. Maybe it's not Brain of Sean. Maybe it's nerdlings.net. Jelly. Oh, it's just jelly.brainofsean.com. Let me try that. Jelly.brainofsean.com. Yeah, that's not working. All right, no, I don't have it set up. Otherwise I would check it out. Oh, hey, Lewis. Having troubles with your connection. All right, that's cool. Well, I was having trouble with my OBS, that's for sure, because the other day it was not great. Nonetheless, I don't have a Jellyfin connection. I don't have a Jellyfin server running right now. Mason, I don't know why mine isn't running. You can troubleshoot it, I suppose. I haven't used. I'm still using Plex, although I really want to use Jellyfin. Let's see. Root at powers flicks. And all right. Docker PS. I'm just looking. Let's see. I don't have. Is Jellyfin on the server? I don't know if it is or not. Etc. System D system. I know you can't see, but I don't want to like give away like, oh look, these are all Sean's super secret stuffs. I don't really have super secret stuffs, but HIJ. Oh no, I don't have it installed here. I wonder where I would have installed. Would it have been locally here? Probably. Maybe. So what? I don't even have a on Pookie. Maybe let's see. Yeah, Pookie. Y'all are just listening to me like, where would I have installed that? Docker PS. Okay, I have Cacti running. Plex. I don't have Jellyfin though. I might not have it installed anymore. That might have just been on my old server that is gone now. System D system. Yeah, I don't have Jelly. I don't have it installed at all anymore. Oh, sorry. Let's see. Plex no longer works the app or any browser to stream content anymore on my iPads. Oh no. Oh. Like even the browser won't work? Oh, it sucks. What happens on the like if you install the app, or does the old app just not, you just can't get a new enough app? That would be sad. Man, that's just super sad. Because yeah, I have an old iPad. I don't know the numbers, but I have a really old iPad. I think it's the original iPad Air, I think is what I have. This is my oldest one. It won't allow you to install it in the App Store. Oof. Does it say like this requires a newer version and like your iPad won't upgrade to that version? That sucks if that's the case. That is frustrating. And then inside Safari it won't play. Because I think I've done that. I think I've streamed inside the Safari browser. But I mean it's not as nice. But I think I've done that before on an iPad. Maybe not. Maybe I haven't. That sucks though. That really sucks. because I mean they're so locked down you can't exactly install an older version even. Huh. Chrome or Edge or Firefox, man. Huh. Well, I don't know. Do you have a place set up you could try Jellyfin? Can you download the Jellyfin app at least? That would be an interesting thing to I mean, if you can get the app, that would be interesting. Yeah, the iPod Pad Power I would assume would be just fine. I mean, it could transcode right down to whatever you need it to. If you can install the Jellyfin app, I would assume that it would work. And then if you can get the app installed, it'd probably be worth, especially if you have like Docker or something. That's what I did. I just spun up Jellyfin in a Docker container really quick and pointed it at the same folder that my Plex server was pointed at, and that worked. But I wasn't using Jellyfin because like a bunch of friends and my kids and stuff all share the same Plex server, and they're all already signed up and already in. I like the idea of Jellyfin, and there's a little bit of irony with Jellyfin. So, or Jellyfin and Plex. So the big thing that Jellyfin doesn't do yet is allow you to download video for offline viewing. At least last I checked, it doesn't allow that. Like it doesn't have that functionality. Like if you wanted to watch it on a plane or something. And that's like one feature that Plex has. However, that feature in Plex has been the buggiest aspect of Plex that I've ever struggled through. A couple people that use my Plex server have downloaded it, gone on a trip, and then all of a sudden it says you have too many streams playing on their device, even if they're only playing one stream and I don't have the number of streams locked down on my server. So it's not even a proper error message, and it's something with the local downloads are corrupt, and it's not easy to fix. And so that's been a real frustration. It's like the only thing that it has over Jellyfin, and then even that screwed up horribly. So anyway, yeah, so I'll highlight this. Yeah. The stuff in there's also a lot of it doesn't work in this current version, and it's not just on the iOS stuff. I have that too. I have an older Macintosh. Like almost all my Macs are old. I don't have any new Macintoshes. I have like my Mac Mini is new enough to run the Ventura operating system. And so there's a program that I use called Ulysses, and it's like it's a lot like Obsidian, but Obsidian for me has been nothing but trouble. It does this weird flickery thing where it scrolls back like up to the top of a document as I'm editing it. And it's been that exact way on multiple platforms, like on Linux or on Mac or on, anything else. So I use this program called Ulysses on a Mac because that's, I have a little 11-inch MacBook Air, and it's just on the cusp, but it's new enough that it can run Ventura. So I can run Ulysses, but I have an older laptop. Okay, that's not true. It's actually a newer laptop, but it doesn't run the newest version of the operating system anyway. So I can't run Ulysses, and that drives me nuts when like it limits it to the version of the operating system that you have. Like, oh, sorry, you can't run that upgrade. Well, I can upgrade, so apparently I just can't use your software on my Mac, even though my Mac is fine. Anyway. Baby whale. Oh, you got Linux Plus. Oh, that's sweet. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, put that up on that screen. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, I mean, it's not even done. So good job getting the Linux Plus stuff. And I hope at least the beginning of it I helped with. Yeah, that's awesome. Congrats. I do enjoy making the videos. Hopefully one day I'll have like enough time I can do it regularly. Everyone, you know what, Shane, I think we're all doing all right. It's good to see you. No worries. It's a pretty laid back live stream. I didn't have anything great to tell everybody. It's been a smoky week here, and I just had some technical difficulties, and that's about all we've talked about. Yeah. We didn't even play a game. I do have a game. We could play that Life Swatter game again, I guess, before the end. But yeah, a couple of performance-based questions, including Awk and Said. Oh yeah, Awk and Said. I bet are they later? I bet they're later in the bet they're later on in the whatchamacallit in the objectives. Let's look snar.co plus objectives. Here, let's pull this down and look at it together. That I can do. If I can get it down there. I have a 30-inch monitor on top and then my little 1080p monitor for my Wacom tablet. And when I try to like move something from the big screen to the little one, it's always like, whoa. All right. So down here, let's see, can I close this over here? Yeah, there we go. Scrolly. So Hawkins said, I don't think we covered it up in the fundamentals. No. And I apologize. I've made training for these things so many times. Oh no, it is. We covered it in 1.2. Oh, sweet. Oh, so hopefully I covered it. All right, nice. Yeah, it's way back here. Hawkins said and printf and all that kind of stuff. So we did that early on. Awesome. Hawkins said are one of those things. I actually use them on a fairly regular basis, like in my day job, just because I like pipe stuff through it. Oh, you knew that I had a video on it. I wasn't even sure, so I guess I should have just asked. I thought Justin Bieber and Nickelback were the worst things Canada ever gave us to the wildfire smoke. That's right. Oh, that's right. Dwayne, you are in the Midwest as well. Yeah, the smoke is something. Oof. Oh, did the thing it started? Oh no. Oh, so my phone just told me like, hey, the preview or the thing is starting, but it's not. It just said that it's starting in 29 minutes. I don't know why I got a notification. Anyway, yeah, the smoke's been something. I'm all looking through to see if I video, and Baby Whale's like, yeah, that's why I brought it up. Duh. But I do. I use Hawkins said a lot because I find myself needing to get specific information out of large text files a lot. And between grep, awk, and sed, man, I have concocted some incredibly crazy things. All right, ready? Are you ready, everyone? Sit back for a story from Sean. Back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, in that first decade anyway, I was working at a school district, and here in Michigan, during that time, the state said, all right, we're going to do this thing called the SRSD, the Single Record Student Database. And we had to submit every bit of information on every student in a database in order for schools to be funded, right? I mean, everything about the student had to be in a single record, thus the single record part of Single Record Student Database. So a student was on one line, pardon me, and every line was another student. And there were like this crazy formula that you had to use to like obfuscate some of their information. Not enough of their information was obfuscated, but to get like this unique identifier. And they didn't even think through it well because like it was based on some data that could easily change or easily have I think part of it was their street address because the state's like, oh, well, in order to be in the school district, they have to be in a specific location. Well, the problem is, let's say I live on Mulberry Street. Well, some people are going to put Mulberry space ST period. Some people are going to put Mulberry space STREET. Some people are going to capitalize Mulberry or capitalize street. Some people are not. And so their formula to get this unique ID was just bonkers town. It never matched up. It was just the worst. It was horrible. But anyway, that wasn't even the tough part. Rather than have comma separated, it was all text too, by the way. It was completely a text file that you had to submit. And rather than be like comma separated or tab separated or anything like that, nope. It was fixed width fields. And it was just a nightmare. And so we had a bunch of different programs that we like pulled information from. And there was no software anywhere that was prepared to deal with all of this, like to create these reports that you had to send off to the state to get funded. So every school district was like scrambling. And because I'm a Linux nerd, what I ended up doing is like the secretary from the central office would send me a bunch of data, and like each school, like high school, middle school, elementary, would send me data, and I would like look at the format of the data that they sent me, and I had to write these ridiculously long sed awk grep piped through redirected made temporary files, etc., and then use I don't even remember, like the cut command to get like a certain length, and then some of the fields had to just be all uppercase, so then I had to use like some sort of a transform. I don't even remember the tool that there is a tool that you can transform from lowercase to uppercase, and it ended up being this long thing where it would just make all these temporary files, and in the end make this ridiculous, complicated single record student database. But anyway, so I say all that to say that, yeah, set and awk, tr, yeah, I think that's right. Translate. The tr command is the one to uppercase things. And it was just this long string of pipe commands and redirects and, like I said, temporary files and for loops, and it was insane. And there were other schools in the district, and they were like, hey, could you share how you did yours? And I'm like, I mean, you don't know. I know. There's just no way that I can share, because I mean, I would have shared, but also the data that I was getting from the different schools wouldn't have been anywhere similar to the data that other schools were getting. So anyway, yeah, it's nice to be able to manipulate text. Let's see. Let me pop this up. I saw something. Somebody must already ask you already about why'd you stop working with CBT Nuggets and you activating the learning platforms. So I was deactivated as a trainer. I don't know I no longer work for the company at all. I still work for the guy who owns the company. So he transitioned me from trainer. It was a multi-step transition. I went from trainer to being in charge of some of the cloud storage stuff that we're trying to do using stuff like IPFS and that sort of a thing. And then I eventually got transitioned to a full-time system administrator for a bunch of data centers right now. And so that's what I'm doing. So, I mean, I wasn't fired, but I was moved out of the training role into another role. And then I was moved from that company altogether to a separate company with only 2 employees. And that's where I am now. As far as on other learning platforms, no. YouTube is where it is right now. I haven't sold anything. You know, I'm trying my best to actually make some worthwhile training on YouTube. Same kind of quality that I would have done at CBT Nuggets. It's just my day job is a job, and so I haven't had as much time to do it as I like. But like, there's the Linux Essentials courses done, and we are slowly getting through Linux Plus. And after that, I don't know what I'll do. A lot of people have wanted me to do Red Hat training, but now after the past couple of weeks with Red Hat, I don't even know what that's going to mean for Red Hat usage in the future. But yeah, it's not an unfriendly parting, but I have no connection with them anymore. I don't get royalties or anything like that anymore. And so whatever they have of mine is theirs, free and clear. The weirdest thing was they sold some of the content that I created to what is the company? It's a really popular free code camp. Is that a YouTube channel? Free Code Camp. I think that's where it is. They have an entire course of mine, and it's a YouTube channel. Yeah, no, just YouTube channel. Free Code Camp, and they have like a Linux server course, like the entire course that I did for CBT Nuggets, and CBT Nuggets sold it to them. And so people like started contacting me like, hey, this free code company, they're putting your stuff on there and they're not like giving you credit or whatever. But it was all free and legit. And I don't get anything from that because I was working for CBT Nuggets. So they have all the intellectual property rights to that stuff because contracts were changed, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, Free Code Camp. Yeah, that. And so if you go there, you can see a complete course that I did for CBT Nuggets that they sold to Free Code Camp, and then they posted. So it's totally legit. They've done nothing wrong at all. So if you go there, don't be like, I can't believe you're doing this. This isn't. No, it's totally legit. But yeah, right now it's just YouTube for fresh stuff for me. That's all on YouTube. I haven't done Udemy either. I know that you're just responding, trying to think of the thing, but no. I just want to give my stuff away for free. I mean, that's kind of I'm passionate about open source because open source was there for me when I didn't have the funds, And what's nice about YouTube is, I mean, it's not like I'm going to pay my mortgage with ad revenue from YouTube, but I mean, it's, you know, it does pay me something, so that's nice. And and I can get the stuff out there, and if somebody wants, in fact, several people are now Patreon supporters because they got some use out of my YouTube stuff, and there's really no way to pay me for it other than like Patreon and stuff. So yeah, it's worked out pretty well. Oh, thanks. Yeah, my puns are gold. My family may not agree with you all the time on some of my puns and my dadly humor, but I appreciate that. Oh yeah, so Linux Plus still has a ways to go, unfortunately. I mean, we're in the security section now. We just finished section. Well, the video that's gonna premiere directly after this live stream will be section 2.2.2. But I don't remember how many. There's still quite a bit left. It's so unfortunate. Here, I'll load it over here so I can look. snar.co/. I use my own short links. I think that says something. Plus objectives. Yeah, there's still so much. So we have section 1 is all done, which was a large section. There's a lot there. And security, we're done with part 2. We still have, I guess there's only one more page. There's section 2.3, 2.4, 2.5 in the security part. And then we have scripting, containers, and automation. And actually, I have a ton of stuff on scripting already. Like I have a full bash course. Well, I mean, full course. It's like half dozen videos or something, but I think it's useful. And then it'll go through, container stuff. Wait, what is container image operations? I don't know some of this stuff. Deploying existing images. Yeah. Connecting to containers. Yeah. I wonder if these are LXD containers, because I don't build, push, pull, list, RMI is, I don't know. Maybe it's Docker. I don't know. That's interesting. I was looking at the objectives again, and the section 3 is interesting. We got to talk about Kubernetes. That wasn't in the last version of Linux Plus. They added Kubernetes. And troubleshooting. Yeah, we still got quite a bit to go, but the last parts might go quicker. I don't know. It's it looks like kind of more fun stuff, more demo stuff. That's always nice. I worried the most about security stuff. Does it have to my advantage? Yeah. Families just don't appreciate what they have. They just don't appreciate the humor. So I have to admit, I'm always worried about the security aspect of teaching about Linux stuff, because I know enough Linux to really not be confident saying, oh yeah, I'm a security expert. I mean, it just feels like if you say you're a security expert, you're just asking for somebody to prove that you're not an expert. I don't know. I'm always uncomfortable with that. So I try to keep it as real as possible. And, but so far, I mean, like the security stuff in Linux Plus isn't like hardcore stuff. Like the next section, we're going to talk about firewalls and stuff, which is cool. I mean, learning how IP tables works is a little like, that can be confusing. But yeah, we just get to talk about things like stateful connections and stateless connections, and it'll be fun. I like talking about that stuff too. Yeah, security is such a complicated topic, and it's like, I don't know. It feels like if you say I'm a security expert, it's like somebody saying I'm the humblest person you know. I am so humble. I'm amazingly humble. It just feels like that kind of a thing. If you're touting your security chops, it's just like, I don't know if you should be bragging about that. But nonetheless, also I get annoyed by some security experts too, who do things in the name of security that I don't think necessarily adds a whole lot of security. And I have close friends who are intelligent, smart, but they do things like, here's an example. Here's an example of something that I disagree with some of my network security professional colleagues, friends, peers with. I do not think port 80 should be blocked to a web server. I think that you should only use port 443 for like transferring stuff, but I don't think that blocking port 80 adds any security. I think you should just use you have your web server or your reverse proxy or whatever immediately and only redirect to port 443. But I think leaving port 80 blocked doesn't add any security at all. In fact, what if somebody puts up a fake IP and does expose port 80 and a person just types in like mysite.com and it goes to port 80? It's not going to hang like it would trying to go to your server. It's going to answer right away. So I am not a fan of blocking port 80 as a security measure. So that's just me. Anyway. Yeah, this is it. Yeah. Also, I have fallen out of the ability to troubleshoot end user things really, really well. And for that, in my younger years, if somebody says my computer is so slow, I might have known like, okay, well, let's check this. And you're like, oh, maybe it's like you don't have enough RAM or, there's too much installed. Even back then, I would generally say, okay, let's back up everything and reinstall your operating system, whatever it is, and see if it's faster. But nobody wants to do that. And it's a pain in the butt to have everything backed up. And then most people, if they have legit software, commercial software, they don't have their CD keys or, their uncle's brother's friend installed a cracked version of, Word Perfect or something. And so how are you going to get that back for them? So yeah, I don't know. I really don't like fixing end user issues anymore either. I guess I'm too much of a snob. Hello, Caesar from Twitch. Yeah, clone it to an SSD. Yeah, SSDs are fast. Yeah, agreed. SSDs are very fast. In the real news context, do you think Debian might be the way to go in case Rocky and Elmo don't manage to make it through the corporate IBM mess? I don't even know. I love Debian, and Ubuntu has their own commercial issues, but I actually like Ubuntu as well. I know that a lot of people really have used RHEL because it's so, it's supported for a really long time and it's used in corporations a lot. So I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't think that this latest change, where they like killed off the spirit of the original CentOS like a second time, like the first time they killed CentOS and they renamed CentOS Stream something that is not CentOS. And this is kind of like the same thing, but like again, or harder or more strict or whatever. I don't know how it's going to affect any corporate usage of it. And so if somebody's looking for a job, maybe using, RHEL is still going to be the thing. I do know that it's difficult to make training for RHEL because maybe not on YouTube, but like when I worked for CBT Nuggets, I could not use RHEL. I could not say that I was making Red Hat training because Red Hat would do cease and desist stuff. So it's really, I don't know. Again, I could probably get away with it on YouTube. Well, they're not going to go after, little old me. But when I was working for an actual training company, yeah. So if you're a CBT Nuggets subscriber and you look for, there's a course, and I don't know if it's still accessible or not, but it was the CentOS Administrator Certification Prep course or something like that, because I couldn't say the word Red Hat, but it was the RHEL training, but I couldn't say Red Hat because they would have sent a cease and desist. It's so funny. Jeff Geerling's going to bring all the servers off RHEL. Yeah. And I like Jeff a lot, and I think that he got a lot of lumps from a lot of people, for vocalizing his displeasure with Red Hat. And all of his Ansible stuff is huge. So, his disappointment actually carries more weight than somebody like myself. But, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to mean, if anything, for a lot of corporate installs, to be completely honest. Oh, so yeah, in a nutshell, I'm sorry, Mason, maybe somebody already answered too. Um, if you remember a couple of years ago, and I see Dwayne kind of answer too. If you remember a couple of years ago, CentOS was kind of killed off, like the whole like CentOS as a clone of Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Like originally, it was Community Enterprise OS, Cent, CEENT for Enterprise OS, CentOS. And it was just, they took all the Red Hat source RPMs and recompiled it into, basically a bit for bit clone. And that's how it was for a long time. And then somehow Red Hat ended up being in charge of CentOS. Like, I don't know how they got it. I didn't look deep enough into it. But they got control of it. So they were actually in charge of CentOS and they killed it off, and they renamed, or they then started this thing said, well, we have CentOS Stream, which uses like Red Hat Enterprise Linux stuff, but it's like before it gets into Red Hat Enterprise Linux. And so you don't know if it's going to be in Enterprise Linux. It was basically like their beta kind of. So CentOS was not CentOS anymore, but they still released their source RPMs available publicly in GitHub. And so then Rocky Linux and Alma Linux became the new CentOS, like what CentOS originally was. In fact, Rocky Linux was started by the guy who originally started CentOS, the original. And so that's where it was, just fully compatible. So what Red Hat has done now is they are no longer posting those source RPMs for RHEL to the GitHub repository that they used to. And then the concern was, oh, if they don't, what do you mean they're not releasing their source code? Well, they are releasing their source code RPMs if you are a subscriber. So they only have to release the source code because, I mean, they use a lot of open source stuff, obviously, and that they recompile and add stuff to and, contribute upstream, blah, blah, blah. But they only have to release the source code to people who use their software. And since their software is paid software, if you are a RHEL subscriber, you have access to those source RPMs. But they put a clause that if you distribute those sources, it's legal because they're, it's open source. It's legal for you to distribute them, but it's also legal for them to drop you as a customer. So basically delete your account. So it's a weird sort of thing. And I mean, Jeff Geerling has covered it a lot more than me, but it's all weird. And Rocky and Alma say, oh, we're still going to release stuff, but it's not clear how they're going to do that exactly. So yeah, it's yeah. And I mean, Ansible is IBM. I mean, IBM owns Red Hat now. So yeah, and I mean, it's all IBM. IBM owns Red Hat. Red Hat owned CentOS, and it's the Red Hat person, like I remember his name, but he's like gone back and forth and posted things on the Red Hat blog. He's the voice of Red Hat right now that's posting stuff, but I mean, he works for everything. They all work for IBM. IBM owns Red Hat, so I don't know. And I don't know a lot of the legal nuances and all the specifics and I just, I don't know. I'm a, well, I mean, like my video, I'm all about the people. I'm not somebody who likes to delve into the nuances of the GPL, any version. I like the spirit and the community of open source, and Red Hat kind of squashing the clones just makes me sad because, it's a lot of people now are not going to have access to it. So, oh, they lost money. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I believe it, and and so this is, so do you want some, I guess, inside information about IBM from my days at Linux Journal? I've always been apparently a touchy-feely hippie, all about the people in open source. That's always kind of been my passion, is people and community. And so when I was a contributing editor at Linux Journal, like I would write and edit, IBM did not like me. And it was just because of the way that I presented stuff. Like we had if you were a Linux Journal subscriber, we had an annual, gosh, what was it even called? It was basically like you voted for the best of. So it was like uh, uh, it had a name that we called it every year. I don't remember. I'm apparently bad about that too. But it was this thing where like all of our readers would vote on the best products and the best, like software and the best hardware and the best, for this and the best for that and like the best text editor. And it was like, VI and Nano would battle it out, and the Emacs crowd would always come in third or whatever. But whenever it was an IBM product that like took second place over, or like hardware, it was specifically hardware that they would always get mad at me about. I would call out the reasons or the flaws that I saw or things that I liked or didn't like. I was always really clear about like what I liked and didn't like. And the powers that be at Linux Journal had incredible editorial or gave us an incredible editorial discretion. I was never ever pressured by anyone in advertising to sway what I said one way or another. It was, I mean, I didn't realize at the time how awesome that was, but it truly was. I never once in my however many years I was there felt pressure to give a favorable review or favorable talking points to a company. But because I was always blunt and I would, show the warts and all, IBM never liked me. And I felt bad about it, but yeah, IBM just did not like me. It's still kind of a running joke because I'm still friends with a lot of the people from Linux Journal at the day, back in the day. And yeah, they just don't like me. So it doesn't surprise me that the Red Hat decision makes me sad. Hey, we talked for like an hour. It's almost an hour already. We didn't even play a game. Sorry, we didn't have time to play a game. And we have to quit right in 5 minutes because we have to try the premiere thing, right? So we'll still chat for a couple minutes here, but then I hope the live premiere thing works. Because as soon as I stop this stream on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitch, I don't think it'll work. I'm sure it won't work there. But if you're watching on YouTube, as soon as the stream is over, it should redirect you wherever you're watching right to the premiere of the video. And if anybody is still around and watching on YouTube, if you can let me know if that works, like on Discord or in a just leave a chat mess or what is the chat? Is it chat during a premiere? I don't know. A comment. Just leave a comment on the video and let me know if you were redirected. That would be awesome. Let's see. Do I have any experience in roles such as SRE, DevOps, platform engineer? If so, are those, in your opinion, future-proof skills that could be relevant in 10 years or so? So here's where Sean is honest to a fault. I don't even know what SRE stands for. Software something something. But I mean, I've taught a lot of DevOps stuff. I've taught Chef and Puppet and Ansible and other DevOpsy things. Platform engineer. I think that having those skills even if not the specific skills, for a particular tool, I think having the ability to abstract out managing and deploying and stuff, I think that's going to be evergreen abilities. I mean, the tools may change, the platforms may change, but if you're comfortable with, like software-based networking or DevOps, like, deploying things virtually, where you're scripting servers into existence, basically, those sorts of things are going to be, I think those skills are going to be invaluable for a long time. But site reliability engineer. Oh, okay. DevOps with more infrastructure. Yeah. I mean, kind of what I was talking about too. Those skills are going to be the same. But what's nice is if you can learn those skills and abstract it as much as possible. So like if you are working for some place that does all of their stuff on AWS, and then either they move or you move to another company and like, oh, well, I mean, we're doing Azure stuff. If you have abstracted it out so that it's code and you just basically change a couple things and all of a sudden you're having those same exact results on a different platform just because you are purposefully using tools that allow you to abstract out, I think that's key. That said, and this will probably be my last thoughts on it. That said, I worry about people who, and this isn't you because you're here and you're actually learning Linux stuff on its own. I worry about people who learn DevOps tools but don't understand what they're doing, like what what the DevOps tools are doing underneath. You know, it's kind of been one of my mantras forever that you should never automate something you couldn't do manually, even if it would be inefficient and would take a long time. But if you shouldn't automate those things unless you can do it underneath, but you should also learn to automate them. And a lot of those automation tools are awesome. Oh, hey, Mike, Sarah. Oh, yeah, no problem. We're about done, Mike. So yeah, there's not much discussion to derail here. In the area you have taught Iraq. Oh no. And I wasn't like, oh, I've taught those things. No, but I just, so you know, I've taught all those, and they're very, I think that the conceptual abstraction of automation and configuration, boy, that was a lot of buzzwords, is invaluable and will be for a very long time. I'm gonna go. I know it's quick, but I really hope that the Premiere thing works. Please leave a comment. Let me know if that works. I'm gonna stop the stream. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we get more videos this week that I don't have multiple mics going to. Grr. And you'll hear that multiple mic thing really quickly in the video. So bye everybody. See you later. Thanks. Let me know if the